What's the date today? The 14th, 9/14/20. All right, today we're going to be talking about parallel lines. And transversals. Parallel lines and transversals. All right, parallel lines. They are coplanar, and do not intersect. Parallel lines, they're coplanar, which means they are in the same plane. So there's a couple of ways that you can be told that lines are parallel. One way, if you got line L and then you've got line M, and these little red arrows are on the lines, those little red arrows mean that the two lines are parallel to each other. You've seen tick marks so far, you've seen arc marks, and now you got these little parallel line arrows. They're little red triangles you'll see. Or black triangles, since most of your quizzes are in black and white. All right, that means line L is parallel to line M. Here's your other symbol. Let's see, let's put a couple points on here, J and K. And we'll go A and B. All right, you can name a line with 2 points as well. So if we call this top line, line JK, and the bottom line, line AB, this little symbol right here, two vertical looking, it's like a vertical equal sign, but a little bit longer. You would read that as line JK is parallel to line AB. So this symbol tells you the lines are parallel, and these arrows tell you that the lines are parallel. Skew lines. Skew lines. They are not coplanar. And do not intersect. Skew lines, not coplanar, and do not intersect. Parallel planes. Those are just planes that do not intersect. All right, so let me try to draw this here for you, and we'll take a look at each of these different All right, we're going to picture like we got a hunk of cheese right here. JKL. P. Q is back here. And R. Let's identify the following. All segments, we're going to say parallel to JP. We're going to list the segments that are parallel to JP. So let's identify JP. JP is right here. Agreed? Somebody tell me a segment that's parallel to JP. Somebody say LR? All right, good. LR is parallel. And what else is parallel? KQ, very good, thank you. K and Q. See it? All right, a segment skew. Skew to KL. All right, so here's KL. Here's KL. We need something that doesn't intersect with it, that's not in the same plane. Yeah. QR is actually parallel to it. QR and KL, they're kind of on the back side of that piece of cheese. All right? Say again? PR. Very good. See PR down here? It's in a different plane than the piece of cheese, right? Let's say this piece of cheese, this K to L is in the top back right corner. Well, P to R is in the bottom front of this piece of cheese. So very good on that one. Skew to KL would be P to R. Can anybody see another one? P to Q, good. And I see one more. J to P, good. Not in the same plane, all right, but they don't intersect either. Give me a segment parallel to QR. What's parallel to QR? K to L. K to L. All right, and again, this is kind of hard. I'm drawing it in like 2 dimensions, and we're talking about 3 dimensions. But we're getting the hang of identifying these different terms. So let's talk about a plane. parallel to PQR. A plane that's parallel to PQR. So here's PQR, right? The bottom of this piece of cheese. And what's a plane that's parallel to the bottom of that piece of cheese, Kieran? JKL, very good. Plane. We'll go plane JKL. It's the top of the piece of cheese, isn't it? Right up here. Oops. Give me some yellow. Right there, those two are parallel. Everybody all right with that? Parallel lines, skew lines, and parallel planes. Okay, so now we've got a bunch of terms to deal with. And a line. Oops. A line that intersects two or more a line that intersects two or more coplanar lines. At two different points. Is a transversal. A transversal. A line that intersects two or more coplanar lines. So look, if you got a line and you got another line, and then you take one that intersects them both, there is your transversal. It intersects the two lines. A line that intersects two or more coplanar lines. So here, if we got a line, another line, and a third line, and then one line intersects them all, that's called a transversal. See it? All right. So now we've got what's called transversal. Angle pair. Relationships. All right, so let's see. Kind of give yourself a little bit of room, and right in the middle of your paper, we're gonna draw a couple of lines, and then we're gonna have them intersected by a transversal. I'm gonna call this line L, line M. I'm gonna Call this line T because we're going to call it a transversal. And now, when you've got two lines cut by a transversal, creates a bunch of angles. Here are the angles. You've got angle 1, 2, 3, and 4, and angle 5, 6, 7, and 8. And now all these angles have different relationships with each other and different names. So we're going to start off with interior angles. All right, the interior angles in this diagram. Everything in here, this is the interior of these two lines cut by the transversal. The yellow region is the interior. So angles 3, 4, 5, and 6 are all called interior angles. This region up here on top and down here on the bottom. That's referred to as the exterior. All right, and in this case, there's 4 exterior angles. And what are they? 1, 2, 7, and 8. Very good. Okay, now we've got consecutive. They are called consecutive interior. Consecutive interior. Now, sometimes they're referred to as same side. All right, which means same side of the transversal. All right, so consecutive interior angles. In this diagram, 4 and 5 are consecutive interior angles. All right, that's one pair. They're on the same side. They're both on the left side of the transversal, aren't they? And they're in the interior. And then there's another pair of same side or consecutive interiors. What's the other pair? 3 and 6. Good. Everybody see it? Good. I'll take your word for it. Then we've got what's called alternate interior. Now, if same side or if consecutive interior means they're on the same side of the transversal, what do you think alternate interior means? Alternating sides of the transversal. So somebody give me a pair of angles that are alternate interior angles. Yep, carry on. Let's see.
Oh, wait, 4 and 6.
4 and 6, good. 4 and 6. Alternating sides of the transversal. Alternate interior. Let's just get this, they're non-adjacent, okay? So non-adjacent. All right, non-adjacent and alternating sides of the transversal. So that's why 3 and 4 couldn't be. Alternate interiors have to be non-adjacent. So 4 and 6 are one pair. 4 and 6 are one pair. If I could get my cursor back. Uh-oh. 4 and 6. And what's the other pair? 3 and 5. Good. All right, next we got alternate exterior angles. And it's pretty much a self-defining term. Alternate exterior angles, alternate sides of the transversal in the exterior of the diagram. So somebody give me a pair of alternate exteriors. Yeah. 1 and what? 1 and 7, good. And another pair. 2 and 8, very good. 2 and 8. Good. Everybody see those angle pairs and their relationships and why they're called what they're called. Okay. And then finally we've got corresponding angles. Corresponding angles. They hold the same position in their respective group of angles. Corresponding angles hold the same position in their respective group of angles. Here's what we mean by that. Where the transversal intersected line L, we had this first group of angles, agreed? Angles 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then that transversal intersected line M, and it created another group of angles. And those were angles 5, 6, 7, and 8. Agreed? Corresponding angles hold the same position as in their respective group of angles. So what holds the same position as angle 1 in the other group? Angle 5. So that makes 1 and 5 corresponding angles. They correspond to one another. Somebody give me another pair of corresponding angles. 2 and 6, good. 2 is in the upper right-hand corner of its group, and 6 is in the upper right-hand corner of its group, so they are corresponding. Another pair. Say again? 3 and 7, good. 3 and 7. And then the last pair in that diagram, 4 and 8, good. All right, so that's parallel lines, skew lines, parallel planes, and all the angles and relationships created by a transversal intersecting two other lines. Any questions out of all of that? Yes, sir. Alternate interior. Alternating sides of the transversal. and non-adjacent. Alternating sides on the inside. So here, let's do, don't draw this, just watch. Let's take this line, and here's a transversal. So we got L, M, and this is our transversal. Here's our angles now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So now, wouldn't this region in here, do you see this? What would this region be called? The interior, good. So that would make everything outside of that the exterior. All right, so how about some alternate interior angles right here? Alternate interior angles in this diagram. Speak up. Interior, alternate interiors. They got to be in the green, and they got to be on alternating sides of the transversal. Good. 2 and 8. What's the other pair? 3 and 5. Good. How about alternate exterior in this picture? Good. 1 and 7. What's the other pair? Good. Corresponding. All right. What corresponds to angle 1? Very good. 1 and 5. What's another pair? 2 and what? Good. Oops. 2 and 6. What corresponds to 4? 4 and 8. And what corresponds to 3? Good. Okay, so let's see, what haven't we done? What about consecutive interior? 2 and 5, good. 2 and 5. What's the other pair? 3 and 8. All right, what else? Alternate exterior, we did that. We did alternate interior. We did consecutive interior. Exterior, just plain old exterior. What are the exterior angles in this picture? 6 and 7 and 1 and 4. What are the interior angles in this picture? 2, 5, 3, and 8. You good with that? Everybody all right with those relationships? All right, your practice for today. Page 31 in the workbook, problems 1 through 20, and then page 32 in the workbook, problems 1 through 16. All right, when you've completed both of those pages in the workbook and you've got your notes in front of you, check focus for a homework assignment. Yeah, they're just kind of back to back in the workbook. All right, has anybody at home got a question on anything we've talked about today or the assignment?
Nope. Nope.
All right, guys, I'm going to end this session in 7 seconds if you don't have any questions. And I will talk to you again tomorrow.
All right, see ya.